Welcome everyone to another episode of Can Mayonnaise Kill a Jedi podcast. I am your co-host Hannah.
And I am your main host, the Artificial Dragon, and welcome to episode 32 of a Can Mayonnaise Kill a Jedi podcast. I gotta say, we're getting this much closer towards 50 episodes. I'm kind of flabbergasted in a strange way.
Yeah, it's getting closer.
Yeah, but today, so I will go real quickly with a Patreon as usual. Thank you to everybody that has been supporting the podcast as of late. I appreciate each and every one of you for the support that you give, whether it's leaving a like.
So do I.
Yeah. Whether it's leaving a like for the videos, leaving a comment, subscribing, and, contributing to the Patreon. And we always love your contribution and the support that you bring to our channel. And real quickly for our Patreon, for any of you that want to contribute in more ways than simply leaving a like, we have a Patreon. It's patreon.com/canmayo. Once again, it's patreon.com/canmayo. And for any tier you contribute to, you'll have immediate access to our Discord server where you could talk Star Wars memes, share topics, discuss Star Wars lore, and give us general topic suggestions or just have a fun time with us.
Yeah, it's been a pretty fun time.
Yeah, it's been really fun. I've been loving all the photos that everybody shares, especially their Star Wars lore experiences, their Lego collections, the whole shebang, the whole 9 yards, all that stuff. Really appreciate it. I've been having a lot of fun, especially with a certain somebody's Mandalorian OC. You know who you are.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah.
And the guy who literally helped you create the Aigo arc.
Yep.
When that video will be uploaded, we don't know.
Yeah. I still got a lot to scrub through.
You got this.
It's like 12 hours of audio to listen through.
Because it's 2 episodes now, right?
Gonna be 3 episodes, even though that previous session was a little bit shorter, but still a lot to listen through.
Yeah. Good luck on that.
Thank you, Hannah. Always the
Just be sure to stock up on coffee, and I think you'll be good.
Why do you think I have Death Wish coffee in my cabinet?
I see.
But yeah, so back on topic. For any of you Patreons that are interested in contributing to our highest amount of $10, we do have Patreon art pieces. And this month we have the Chiss by, yet to give her a name. Haven't reached that road yet, but she's got
For
the
now,
thick
we'll
thighs.
call her Blueberry.
Yeah, we'll call her the Blueberry. Yeah, we'll just call her Blueberry. But aside from her, you'll also have access to our previous Patreon art pieces, like, for example, our Kamari Vosa one, our Dathomirian Night sisters, and all of that.
And Night Brothers.
Yeah, Night Brothers. Count Dooku, Lord Vitiate, and yeah, I'll let you guys take a look if you're interested. But anyway, now with that all aside, I appreciate everybody's support, regardless if it's, subscribing, Patreon, or just simple comments. I always look
even
for
liking
all the
video.
Yeah.
That gets us more on the algorithm.
Yeah, it really helps, especially with how YouTube operates nowadays, which is bullshit, but yeah, what can you do?
Very bullshit, but hey, we appreciate every single one of you.
Yeah, exactly. So with that out of the way, Hannah, you probably know what today's episode's going to be about.
Yep.
Yeah, the menace that made you guys shit your pants for one session.
After rolling a fucking 100 on a D100.
Yeah, it was. I keep on listening through the audio of that episode. I'll probably put a clip in here later, but the pure terror that you embody, just no.
Yep.
When you saw that D100 was priceless.
God, I thought I was gonna shit myself. Like, no.
Oh, wait, what happened?
Interesting.
What'd you roll for?
That's a 100.
Wait, what are you rolling for? Bounty hunters?
Yup.
No.
But yeah, for context for everybody else, today we will be talking about the alien, the myth, the legend, Durge.
Or as I call them, Space Deadpool on crack.
Yeah, I know I used that as a comparison for the longest time, ever since I mentioned him briefly in our Grievous episode. Mm-hmm. But no, a better comparison, ever since I've been doing some research on him, a better comparison with Durge is with, he's got the similar vibes to slasher movie villains like Jason Voorhees, Michael Myers, Freddy Krueger, but I have my own personal gripes with Durge, but I'll probably say that for the end of the episode. But going through the research, Durge is just one of those very popular Legends characters. In all honesty, there's not too much to him. He's just a big, hunky, scary bounty hunter dude who will absolutely wreck your shit.
We are lucky we did not get our shit too wrecked.
Yeah, he barely lasts over a round.
Thank God.
Only because one of my players had a seismic charge that's designed to destroy starships.
Hey, it worked. That's the only way we survived.
Yeah, but anyway, let me stop talking about the D&D session because we'll let the fans watch that later. Let us go into the main meat, or muscles, of this episode. So, as I mentioned before, Durge is kind of just one of those popular Legends characters and is feared within in the Legends universe of Star Wars. And there's a video out there, I believe it's by the Lore Master. Have you ever watched the Lore Master?
I think so. I'm not too sure.
Okay, he's still a prominent YouTuber who does like brief videos on Star Wars lore and all that. Mm-hmm. You may have came across his pictures. One of his videos actually was the origin of Can Mayonnaise Kill a Jedi meme.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I gotta check that out.
Yeah, it's the specifically the What Weapons Can Kill a Jedi video, I believe. It's buried in there somewhere. It'll take a while for you to find it.
Oh, right. I think you sent me the screenshot.
Yeah, I did.
But yeah, that's cool.
But anyway, point is, so I believe there's like a video out there by the Lore Master. It could be somebody else. I'll probably correct myself later. But there's a video where it literally says Durge, the most powerful bounty hunter in the galaxy. That sort of thing.
Yeah.
But let me see. So
Fucker's terrifying.
he is very terrifying. So Durge, you'll probably see this as a trend with a lot of good villains in Legends canon. He was introduced in the Clone Wars micro series alongside Grievous and Asajj Ventress. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and just like those people, actually, funny enough, Durge was originally going to be reintroduced in a newer Clone Wars TV show.
Really?
Yeah, but so long story short, they conceptualized him as basically a normal ass human, which kind of takes away the his origins and everything like that, merely because of budget constraints, and they didn't, because his outlandish alien physiology would be way too expensive for them.
Yeah, everything. It would probably be hell to animate.
Oh yeah, especially with all his individual tentacles and everything.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the reason why they made him a human instead, who's just this big, chonky looking human in this huge suit of armor and everything. But then, I believe Dave Filoni was all like, I don't want to butcher Durge further by turning him into a human. So I'm going to scrap that entirely and make a new bounty hunter character.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So he went through like several designs. Like, I believe at one point it was going to be a Nazi scientist or something like that.
Oh, wow.
And even George Lucas came in and suggested doing a character design that was inspired by spaghetti westerns and everything. Mm-hmm. And eventually, they created a new character, and that's how Cad Bane was made.
That is so fucking cool.
Yeah, it is so cool.
I love hearing about like creative processes like that.
Yeah, and I am thankful for that, because Cad Bane, as everybody in the podcast knows very well, is one of my most favorite villains in all of Star Wars.
Yep.
So, good on you, Dave Filoni. Some of the decisions you make are kind of weird, but I'll forever thank you for introducing Cad Bane. But anyway, briefly, Durge was going to be introduced in the Clone Wars series, and then they just scrapped him and everything.
Made total sense, because the budget was probably not as bountiful as... No.
I mean, if you look at it, just compare modern day Clone Wars with the first season of the Clone Wars, and it's night and day.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's just one thing I appreciate. But anyway, behind the scenes stuff aside, let me actually get into the main meat of Durge and his story. So as we all know, Durge is a member of a race called the Gendai. There's a lot of different pronunciations I've heard, but a lot of people generally call them the Gendai. Gen''Dai.
Yeah.
So the Gendai, you probably encountered them once or twice in the SWTOR campaigns.
Yes, he was. I want to say Nar Shaddaa, but it might have been Hoth.
No, so there are multiple Gendai characters. Like, there's one on Nar Shaddaa. His name is The Flame. And he leads a resistance movement against the Imperials because they destroyed his home planet, that sort of thing.
Okay.
And, yeah, they're just, it's funny enough, the Gendai are actually a bunch of pacifists.
Really?
Yeah.
I remember one being, undying.
Yep.
I think that was Hoth. Where he had to, sabotage his armor to kill him. Mm-hmm. But that's all I remember.
Yeah, it's kind of ironic because a majority of Gendai that you encounter are not pacifists.
Yeah.
And Durge was actually the original character that was an introduction to the Gendai race. Like, Shakti was for the Degruda, and Bib Fortuna was for the Twi'leks.
That's cool.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. So Durge was born 2,000 years before the start of the Clone Wars.
He's fucking ancient.
He is really ancient.
He's older than Yoda.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, you're right. He is older than Yoda and fucking
Yoda's
Jabba.
only 800.
Yeah, and Jabba the Hutt, who's around the same age as Yoda. Yeah.
Good God.
Well,
He's
anyway,
been around for a while.
Yeah, he's been around for a while. He's been around since the Sith were still around, kicking ass and taking names.
Yep.
So yeah, he was born 2,000 years before the Clone Wars and everything. He is said to be of exceptional physical age at an early age amongst the Gendai. And unlike most of his people, he possessed an aggression uncharacteristic amongst his people. And like most characters in Star Wars, it doesn't go into his background or anything like that. Like, we don't know his childhood, we don't know what his living situation was, that sort of thing is just kind of vague. Oh, he was there, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And eventually, he saw a bunch of bounty hunters in action, and he thought, I'm down, man. I'm down with being a bounty hunter. Fuck the pacifist lifestyle. I want what they're doing.
Just insert Rick and Morty. You son of a bitch. I'm in.
I fucking... I've never watched any of Rick and Morty. I mean, I
Neither
watch
have I.
clips. I watch clips every once in a while, but I love that meme so much. You son of a bitch. I'm in.
Yep.
Love that meme so much. But anyway, so eventually he would wander the galaxy, and he would get different mentors over the years and everything. Though one particular individual goes by the name of Jing. He's actually a former Mandalorian, and I'll send you a picture of him real quickly. There's very scarce pictures of him, but I remember him from a comic and everything.
Okay.
Yeah, so Jing, I don't know how to pronounce his name, but point is, he is his closest mentor, and he was a former Mandalorian. He actually was a former member of the Mandalorian Neo Crusaders.
Oh, wow.
And even at that general time frame, Jing would have been well over 2,500 years old.
Good God.
So, and it didn't come to me until later, but if you look at the guy, he looks like a living mythosaur. He's got the curling horns and everything, just like the mythosaur symbol that all Mandalorians wear.
Oh, yeah. I could see it.
Yeah. I just thought that was a nice little detail.
That is a nice detail.
Yeah, it didn't come to me until I saw him for myself. But anyway, so point is, Jing and Durge, they grew this really close bond. And Jing, he kind of grew a huge disillusion with the Mandalorians. Like, they were once this powerful, honorable warrior race, but now they're turning into a bunch of mercenaries. And he's like, fuck you guys, you lost your honor, I'm going to do my own thing, that sort of thing.
Okay.
And he took Durge under his apprenticeship and they pursued bounty hunting together and everything. And then eventually one day, there was this scientist. We don't know his name, but he reached out to both Jing and Durge. He was like, hey, I am a cyberneticist. I could give you top-of-the-line equipment, technology, armor, cybernetics, whatever, because you guys will probably need it, and I'll need your services for later. And Jing and Durge decided, okay, things are changing. The galaxy is in fucking turmoil from the war between the Sith and the Jedi. We're going to need to adapt. We're going to need better technology. We're going to need better weapons, that sort of thing. So we're going to accept and go to this scientist. So they go to the scientist, and both of them undergo heavy cybernetic augmentation. Like, Durge turned out to be the most problematic because, Gendai Physiology, most of the cybernetics that was grafted into his skin would just be healed over because of his physiology and everything.
Oof.
Yeah, but eventually, Durge and his master got their cybernetic upgrades and everything, and
That's cool.
And I'll show you a picture of Durge when he was really, really young. He doesn't get his gains until much, much later in his life.
Oh, God. He's just standing there like, hello.
Hello. And then eventually, he goes through the cybernetic augmentation. The scientist decides to test their abilities and everything like that, and he unleashes them against his other test subject, who was this woman who is basically 75% robot. And they do their sparring session and everything, just generally testing out their new armor and everything. And then afterwards, before they could do any real damage, the scientists are like, okay, I don't want you to destroy each other because I need you to protect me from a bunch of Mandalorians that are after my ass.
Oh, shit.
And then, literally a couple minutes later, after the scientist tells them about what's going on, the fucking Mandalorians fucking Kool-Aid man through the wall and start gunning down at these guys. And
is that where Durge gets it from?
probably. I would not doubt it at all. I mean, he was trained by a former Mandalorian, so probably.
Oh, God.
The point is, so these Mandalorians are loyal to this individual Mandalorian. It's not really relevant, but I'll try and pronounce his name anyway. Ung Cusp. He's like a random Mandalorian that Durge's master said, fuck you. And the Mandalorians were all like, you shouldn't have abandoned us, Jing. You should not have abandoned the Mandalorian warrior culture. And they were able to fight back against the Mandalorians, but after they have their little reprieve, one of the Mandalorians just yeets a thermal detonator right in front of them, it knocks everybody unconscious. And Jing was at the Mandalorian's mercy, and they have their little exchange, like, you guys are ruthless mercenaries. That's the reason why I left the Mandalorians in the first place. And the Mandalorians were like, well, fuck you. We're going to kill you anyway. And then Durge comes out of unconsciousness, and he goes into this unstoppable rage because he thought he saw his master die before his eyes. Like, he literally tears apart a door and uses it as a makeshift club against these Mandalorians.
Oh, wow.
And everything. And the remaining survivors were just looking at him, and he's like, run, otherwise I'll go after your ass.
Yeah, shit your pants moment.
But fortunately, his master was still alive, just very barely. And Durge basically asked the doctor to save his life, and then after the doctor, puts a rebreather mask, I think, on Jing, Durge just goes out because he wants to kill the Mandalorians himself. Unfortunately...
So that's why he hates Mandalorians so much.
He fucking hates them with a passion because they nearly killed his mentor. However, that scientist, turns out he orchestrated the entire thing. Because,
what the fuck?
Because he had a Sith artifact that he stole from the Mandalorians.
Okay.
And the artifact, it's basically what's identified as Palpatine's cane that he uses in Return of the Jedi.
Oh.
Yeah, it's
that's cool.
It's apparently a very rare, very powerful Sith artifact. I don't know what it does exactly, but
how the hell did it get into his hands?
So he stole it from the Mandalorians, and the Mandalorians came after him. He used Jing and Durge as basically scapegoats, and his entire idea was, I'm going to start a war between the Sith and the Mandalorians.
Evil bastard. Oh my god.
Yeah. And I think he lets Jing die of his wounds.
That is chaotic evil.
Yeah, because he was doing this entire monologue in front of him as he's probably slowly dying and everything.
Wow.
Yeah,
Chaotic evil as hell.
chaotic evil as hell. And I do wish, so this entire story that I just retold appears in an anthology comic series. Where it's like a random story in this time period.
That's cool, though.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. The art style is really good. I just wish they expanded more on Durge's story because it's very brief between him and his mentor, and we never explore their relationship more.
Yeah, it's always nice to see that.
Yeah, it is. But after that, Durge is known as as I mentioned before, one of the most powerful bounty hunters in the galaxy, and due to his Jedi physiology, as a Jedi, he lacks no vital organs.
What?
He has no central nervous system. It's just all muscle in there.
Even his brain, or?
He does have a neural network, kind of. What's a good comparison? Think of it like an octopus sort of thing. Like, he has no lungs, he has no heart, he has no spinal cord, any of that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it just makes it really impossible to kill the bastard. And and as a Gendai, he could survive dismemberment and decapitations.
Just like Deadpool.
Yep, just like Deadpool. And then on top of that, Durge has heightened senses, with him being able to hear a heartbeat from up to 656 feet away.
Wow.
So you can't even sneak up on the bastard.
Nope. Oh, fuck. I'm glad I didn't use force camouflage.
Yeah, and then it also he also has his perception. So you know how like most characters like Superman and the Flash can perceive things at a very slow level, like I think the Flash can perceive up to the attisecond or something.
Yeah.
Durge isn't quite that ridiculous, but by his perception, the supernatural speeds of Jedi Knights appear like it's slow motion to him.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and he's also very, very quick, as he's able to speed blitz a bunch of Jedi Masters multiple times.
So that's why he was kicking our asses so fast.
Yeah, exactly. He is terrifying.
You think?
Nearly beat the shit out of Arjak.
Yep.
Well,
Luckily, no one was close to dying.
very close. I think, yeah, I remember Arjak had like half of his health taken away.
Yeah.
By
I only
mere
got
punches.
hit once, thank God.
Thank God for you. Anyway, on top of his physiology, his armor is the cybernetic piece of armor that the doctor gave him and everything. It basically heightened his own neural network. It directly connected his neural network to the armor's computers and everything, allowing him to make almost instantaneous movement. Like we talked to earlier about aimbots. That's basically what he's got.
Okay.
All he has to do is just look at somebody, just aim at
Oh,
them.
wow.
Yeah, it's just nanosecond reactions.
He's cheating.
You think?
Hacks! I call hacks!
Hacks! But, so, the reason why Durge looks humanoid is because of his armor, but if you damage his armor enough, he's just a huge mass of tentacles and everything, and
They show that in the
micro series,
micro series.
where he's just this huge mass of tentacles and everything, and it's no longer limited by his armor. That's the only reason why he looks vaguely humanoid.
Okay.
And then on top of that, he has an arsenal of powerful weapons, such as a pair of blaster pistols, rifles. I think he has like a little minigun sort of thing.
Oh, wow.
He also has a jetpack, and his most iconic weapons is his Magna Bolas, which he commonly uses as throwing weapons. And it's his most used weapon, if I could find it. There it is.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just bolas that he throws and it electrocutes anybody that it makes contact with. And And then, let me see. And then his armor has machine gun gauntlets, which can fire flechettes, which
Oh,
are basically
wow.
like little razor pistols sort of thing.
Oof.
And he also has a wrist-mounted flamethrower, a spiked flail, dark launchers, and energy shields, which allow him to block lightsaber strikes.
Wow.
So as you can tell, Durge, he's packing.
He's packing a lot.
He's packing a lot, and that's one of the things that
I'm
makes.
so glad we killed him when we had the chance.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So back to his history. Durge would fight on the side of the Sith during the new Sith Wars, and had personally killed many Jedi, learning their techniques and becoming more efficient, killing them after each encounter.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so, as
Even
you...
Jedi can't defeat him. That's a tough motherfucker.
Yeah, I mean, they probably could briefly kill him, but point is, he just respawn times on them and
Yep.
just kills them more efficiently.
Yep.
Yeah, he's a fucking cheater.
It's bullshit.
Though to avoid persecution by the Jedi, after the Seventh Battle of Ruusan, which basically, quote-unquote, led to the extinction of the Sith, he would continue hunting under different aliases and false names. So it's not really relevant of what his other aliases is. It's just Durge all over the place. But assumingly he took up multiple titles in multiple different forms over
Probably.
millennia. Because with a dude that big, I don't think you're going to be able to hide from the Jedi that easily.
Nope.
Well, anyway,
Maybe outlive a good handful of them.
I mean, that's fair, yeah. When you have a lifespan that is superior to the Hutts, you could probably outlive a majority of your competition.
Yeah.
And then, though approximately 100 years before the blockade of Naboo, Durge's life would change drastically when he was hired to kill the current Mandalore at the time. And, well, Durge being Durge, he succeeded.
Of course.
Unfortunately, he got captured by the Mandalorians, and who, for retaliation for murdering their leader, tortured him to death.
Oh.
And obviously they couldn't kill him, but like the point is they can't kill him physically. They're trying to break his mind at this point.
Yeah.
And they tortured him past
You like saw torture.
Yeah. They tortured him, I quote, past the line of sanity.
So that's why he's so unhinged.
Yeah, he's real. Yeah, you could thank the Mandalorians for his unhinged motherfucker.
Fuck your ancestors, Arjek.
Though, fortunately, he would escape his tortures one day. Though he was so physically and so psychologically broken that he basically took a long nap.
It's just like, fuck this, I'm going to sleep.
He just hit on a rock on some backwater planet or something. Like, fuck you guys, I'm gonna take a nap. And you better be there when I come back.
That's a hell of a self-care routine. Just
Yeah, and at one point he was buried alive for over 60 years.
good God.
Yep.
And of course he survives.
Yep. By the time he fully healed and reawakened, it was basically the start of a Clone Wars by then.
Wow.
Yeah, and Durge was disappointed because he came back to the modern day of Star Wars and he saw most of the Mandalorians no longer existed. Most of them were pacifists, most of them were mercenaries, nothing like the glory days back when he was around. He was like, God damn it, I am so freaking mad. And then he was approached by this lovely Sereno Count Dooku.
Oh, so, wow. Just
Yeah.
out of nowhere. Hey, I'm Count Dooku.
Yeah, when I was doing research for it, it literally was all like, Durge just came back. And then he was approached by Count Dooku to have him join his army and everything.
Wow.
Yeah. And then after he found out that the Grand Army of the Republic was made up of clones of the Mandalorian Jango Fett,
It triggered him.
yeah, because in his mind, even though he's not killing true Mandalorians, this is the closest equivalent he's got, and he accepted Dooku's offer.
So he knew about Jango Fett.
Yep.
God damn.
Like, one of his quotes was, Jango Fett was lucky I was taking a nap.
Oh, God.
Yeah. And then, let me see. So, Durge joins the Separatists because Yahoo get to kill clones of Mandalorians. Yahoo don't care about money as long as I kill clones of Mandalorians.
He doesn't even care about money?
No, pretty much.
Holy shit.
Because in his mind, he believes that killing Mandalorians, or at least clones of a Mandalorian, is the best kind of payment that he's got.
Wow.
Yeah, this guy is, he's a piece of work. He's also kind of insane at this point.
You think?
But interestingly enough, 2 months after the start of the Clone Wars, he would be tasked by Count Dooku to hunt down Jango Fett's protege, Boba Fett.
Okay.
And he would find himself on the middle buttfuck nowhere planet of Tatooine.
Of course.
Yeah. And he was approached by a Jabba the Hutt who basically wanted him to kill this crime lord and everything. And Durge was like, okay, I might as well do a side job while
Typical
I'm here.
side quest.
Just do a little side quest, the normal D&D thing or any other RPG games. He's like, okay, whatever. And he was just chilling in a cantina, and then a young Boba Fett just comes in. He's like, I see you! I got you in my sights, motherfucker! And he goes after Boba Fett, and Boba Fett barely survives the encounter. He's like, gotta get the fuck out of Dodge.
Just nope.
Because I think Boba Fett was like 14 at the time.
He's still a kid.
Yeah, he's still a kid, and he's wearing his dad's armor and everything.
Wow. Yeah, that's a get the fuck out of Dodge situation.
Yeah. And he just runs back to Jabba. And I think Durge follows him to Jabba's palace, and Durge was basically pissed off because Jabba the Hutt also tasked Boba Fett to hunt down the same target that he was after.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and Durge and Boba Fett kind of have this huge confrontation in the presence of Jabba and everything. And Jabba was like, settle down, you two, settle down. I'm...
Being the mediator.
Yeah, he's basically being the mediator because this all happens in one of a Boba Fett novel. It takes place in the Legends timeline, by the way.
Okay.
And Jabba, he's familiar with Jango Fett's reputation, and he found out about Boba Fett, and he decided, okay, I'm going to give you a fair chance. Go ahead and go after the crime lord that I tasked you to find. You, on the other hand, Durge, I'm going to have you kill my pet spiders over there.
What?
So Jabba has these combat beasts called combat arachnids. They're these scary looking motherfuckers.
I have arachnophobia, do not.
Don't worry, I won't send you a picture. But they're basically the same size as the Acolyte from Geonosis and everything.
Oh, fuck no.
And Durge, being Durge, he effortlessly kills 2 of these fucking things. And Boba Fett just has a nice head start to go after the crime lord, and Durge is just hot on his heels. So, long story short...
Of course Jabba would pull that kind of trick.
Yeah. Long story short, Boba Fett gets the jump on the crime lord that he's after. Durge just Kool-Aid man out of nowhere, and they have this epic fight and everything. A freeway fight. And Boba Fett basically tricked Durge into open firing on a explosive in the crime lord's ship and everything. Uh-huh. And it caused an explosion so powerful it basically destroyed the entire ship with Durge in it.
Oh shit.
Yeah, and he killed the crime lord, and he managed to get Durge out of the picture, and Boba Fett just went on his merry way and got his payment from Jabba.
Did he survive?
Yes, obviously
Of
Durge
course.
survived. I just like how much of a chump Boba Fett made him into.
Yeah. Just like, I kicked your ass, bitch.
And Durge was all like, I was being nice, so shut the fuck up. Anyway, so apparently I guess Durge decided,
and that's at 14 years old.
Yep.
Boba's a fucking badass.
One of these days when we talk about Boba Fett, I remember there was...
Put it on the list.
Put it on
Take
the
a
list.
fucking shot.
But I'll give you a nice little teaser. Boba Fett actually fights Mace Windu himself once.
What?
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah. When he was 15 at that point, by the way.
Stay tuned for that episode.
Yeah, just a nice little teaser. Boba Fett, you're probably going to get an episode in like 2 or 3 years. I don't know. But yeah, that's a little teaser for you guys. Anyway, so I don't know what happened. Durge just decided to fuck out of there. Like, fuck going after Boba Fett. I got a million other clones that I could kill instead.
Yeah.
And so let me see. So obviously Durge recovered from his injuries and continued to serve Count Dooku. One of his first missions was alongside his frequent partner, Asajj Ventress. Like, if you ever see media of Durge, he's usually paired up with Asajj Ventress. They're like the dynamic duo.
That's cool. At
Yeah.
least she gets along with somebody.
Yeah, at least. And both of them were testing a new bioweapon called swamp gas. And they were using this weapon on one of Naboo's moons called Amadon.
Geneva suggestions?
And there was a entire colony of Gungans on there, and they're like, ooh, war crimes.
Yeah, total war crimes.
Yeah, and
The Clone Wars is full of Geneva suggestions.
oh yeah, absolutely. And they, use the swamp gas, instantly killed the Gungan colonists and everything.
Oh, God.
Yeah, same comic book series with Dark Horse and everything is so good. But anyway, so after they saw the results, they're like, okay, cool. We're going to analyze this more, analyze its effectiveness more, and then we're going to, get a shipment of this swamp gas and unleash it on Naboo itself.
Oh, God.
And fortunately, though, there was a Republic strike team that was sent to investigate the Gungan colonists because they haven't been saying anything. They're like, what the fuck is going on? Mm-hmm. And this strike team consisted of Anakin, Obi-Wan, several Jedi, and several clone troopers.
Okay.
And this particular clone trooper, he goes by the name of Alpha 17. He's kind of a hard ass. Imagine,
Sounds like it.
Yeah. Imagine Captain Rex, but more ruthless.
Okay.
Like, a fun fact, Alpha 17 was originally what Captain Rex was going to be, but they decided to make him a new character altogether.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, just to give you an idea of how hardcore Alpha 17 is, during the first invasion of Kamino, one of his first suggestions was to basically self-destruct the cloning facilities, so that the
God.
Separatists wouldn't get them.
Just the nuclear option every fucking time.
Yeah, nuclear option, just burp. But,
Jesus.
But fortunately, Shakti talked him out of it and everything.
Thank God she was there. See, she's not fucking useless.
Yeah, but anyways.
The clone would have bombed the cloning facilities.
Oh, absolutely. He is as ruthless can get.
Good God.
Anyway, so that aside, the strike team were sent, and they were obviously shocked to see all these dead Gungans just affected by the swamp gas. And there are like a couple of droids that are just, emotionally just, just typing in information. And I think Anakin went out, classic Anakin, slashed all the droids apart and everything. And then Durge made his first proper introduction. He basically snuck up on Obi-Wan, clobbered him in the face, and stomped on his face a couple of times.
Ow.
Yeah, he was like, I'm back, bitches!
God damn.
Yeah,
He's brutal.
Yeah, this is the quote that he says for his introduction. It's been over a century since I killed a Jedi, and today I get to kill 4 more of you. Add that to the Gungans I already murdered, the hostages I'm going to kill later, and all of Naboo who will die tomorrow. It's a damn good week.
Holy shit.
Yeah, this is the motherfucker that they're dealing with.
He's nuts.
He is absolutely nuts.
Oh my God.
He lives to just kill everybody in sight.
Oh God.
And then, there's a little scuffle here and there. He's obviously curb stomping a majority of the Jedi. There's this one funny moment where Alpha 17, being the ruthless son of a bitch that he is, he obviously knows, because the Jedi keep stabbing him with their lightsabers multiple times with no effect, by the way. Alpha 17 just decided, okay, I'm going to blind this motherfucker, and shoots him in the eyes. And Durge's like, you motherfucking piece of shit.
Well, it makes sense.
Yeah, Alpha 17's so fun.
The eyes are a weak point. Always go for the eyes.
Yeah, and then, a little confrontation. Durge got really tired of it, and he called in for reinforcements from Ventress. And I think this is also when Ventress made her introduction to, Obi-Wan and everybody.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. So, first introduction for both Durge and Ventress.
That's cool.
Yeah, and then, little kerfuffle here and there. Ventress orders Durge to basically load up the shuttles full of the swamp gases and everything to unleash on Naboo. However, Durge, by the time he got there, he found this meddlesome clone, Alpha 17, had already blown up the ships. And he decided, okay, if I'm not going to kill the Naboo, I might as well kill you. And he just beat the living shit out of his clone. And then Anakin came in, grabbed one of the Durge's bolas, and gave him a taste of his own medicine.
Okay.
And then Durge's like, fuck this shit, I'm out.
Nope. Fuck this.
And then, so, obviously the operation is thwarted and everything. There's still the matter of gas and everything. Basically, Obi-Wan was tasked with finding the antidote for the swamp gas, but he needed for the help of 4 other legendary Jedi Masters. And they're legendary in the fact that they're always exploring throughout the galaxy. Like, I don't think these guys were even summoned to participate in the Clone Wars, but since the swamp gas is that much of a danger to galactic society, they decide to bring in the big guns and everything.
Wow.
Like, I'm just going to send you the pictures in order. A lot of these characters, they literally appear just for this one comic series. But yeah, so I'll save them in order. Faye, who is known as the most beautiful looking Jedi. John Antilles, Nako Def, and No Venari.
In order?
Yeah, in order.
Okay.
Yeah, Faye is the
Space elf.
the
She's
space elf. Yeah, and John Antilles is the guy in the hood. Neko Def is the one with the beard and everything. And No Venari is the Biff.
That's cool.
Yeah. All of them are these really legendary Jedi. They're like, what's a good comparison I could think of? Like the legendary Seventh Samurai or anything like that.
Okay.
And they were brought in, and Obi-Wan leads them to this mission. And they go to this lava world by the name of, what was it? Qaitava. Think of basically copy and paste Mustafar.
Okay, I was gonna say, why not just go to Mustafar?
Yeah, I know. It should have been Mustafar, but they decided, okay, lava planet, whatever. And there's this Techno-Union facility that, according to their intelligence, is where the swamp gas was made and everything. Unfortunately for Obi-Wan and his Jedi comrades, Durge and Asajj Ventress set up a trap for them.
Of course.
And so there were a lot of Skakoans, which are Wotembor's race.
Okay.
This will come into relevance later. But the team has snuck into the facility, and Durge sprung the trap. He aimed his guns at one of the Skakoans, opened fired, because the Skakoans, you gotta keep in mind, they have pressurized suits, and they are filled with methane.
Oh, right.
And they just exploded like they're friggin' dynamite.
Oof.
Just causing this huge chain reaction that made the facility just sink closer to the lava lake down below.
He's sadistic as fuck.
He is as sadistic as they come.
Jeez.
And Ventress just grabs the antidote for the swamp gas and runs the fuck out of there while Durge takes care of the Jedi and everything. Kanaro Venari, the Boffin, she has this reputation as the fire breather because she can absorb fire and everything, but this lava, this series of explosion was way too much for her. She was able to extinguish all of it, but at the cost of her own life.
Oh, God.
Yeah, and then afterwards, like I said, Ventress, so Durge...
Just, you're here for a moment, then dead the next.
Yeah, dead. And then John Antilles, he decides to stay behind and fight Durge one-on-one.
Okay.
John Antilles just does the most stupid thing ever. He jumps on Durge's back, just riding him, and Durge's like, really? He grabs his ass and he forces him into a lava lake.
Oh, God.
Just You're gonna die. I'm gonna make sure you die, motherfucker.
Wow.
Like, yeah, you know those scenes where
Legendary my ass.
yeah, you know those scenes from horror movies where somebody is drowning somebody in a sink or something like that?
Yeah.
That's basically that with lava.
And you're getting burned at the same time. Oh, God.
And Durge, he made sure to suffocate this Jedi in this lava pool that both of his hands just melted off.
No worries, he can grow 'em back.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, who gives a shit if it'll grow back?
God.
And then he goes after Obi-Wan and the remaining Jedi. He gets caught up in the explosion, but long story short, the remaining Jedi, the Fae Jedi, who's the most beautiful Jedi, she actually incapacitated Ventress by, I think it's along the lines of holding her soul into her own body and everything.
Interesting.
Yeah, she was basically keeping her mind at rest because Faye, she's one of those pacifist Jedi. She hasn't even used a lightsaber in 1,000 years.
That's, I think, my ideal consular.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. I like
she
that.
is pretty cool. Again, she only appears in this one comic series, but I think she's
That
interesting.
sounds so cool, though.
Yeah. And then Durge comes in, doing the classic Kool-Aid Man thing, just exploding everything. And then Faye wasn't able to contain Ventress's soul or whatever, and Ventress kills her.
Aw.
And Obi-Wan is the only survivor.
Jesus Christ, for Legendary, they still get cut down.
Yeah.
Fuck.
And Obi-Wan was just hanging off of a cliff, just barely holding on. And Ventress and Durge were kind of tempted to kill Obi-Wan, but the only reason they didn't was because Dooku told him not to.
Oof.
Yeah, they assumed that that Obi-Wan will succumb to his injuries or whatever, but fortunately for Obi-Wan, Faye lived long enough to give a portion of her life essence to Obi-Wan, and he was able to get out of there with the antidote.
That's good.
Yeah. Then after that, 4 months into the war, Durge would be assigned. Okay, so we're going into the micro series, by the way.
Okay.
Durge would be assigned to the main banking clan world of Munilist, where he would oversee the protection of the banking clan from the Republic invasion and everything. Durge was just kind of standing there in the command center in the background, as all the other Munes were just panicking because the Republic are at their doorstep, they're demolishing their city and everything. And the leader of the banking clan, Sand Hill, was just biting his nails in the situation and everything.
Bacon baby back bitch.
Yeah, and he turns to Durge and he's like, I don't know why Count Dooku sends you here if you're not going to do anything. And Durge just literally grabs him by the neck.
Oh, God.
And Sandhill was all like, whatever, you're ready. I mean, and Durge just marches out of there.
That's funny.
Yeah, and then Durge just marches out of there. And he has his own contingent of special battle droids. They're called IG Lancer droids. They basically are programmed to ride speeder bikes, and they have, lances, classical cavalry.
Okay.
With, I forget what it's called. Jousting, that's what it's called.
Yeah, jousting.
And he leads his special unit of droids, and they just do an entire blitzkrieg on the Republic Armored Division and everything. There's like at one point where he stabs an ATTE with his spear, and he lifts it up as it explodes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Durge, he never says a friggin' word throughout that entire thing. It's just terrifying.
He shows it without using his words.
Yeah, exactly.
That is very terrifying.
And then, as I'll point out multiple times in the future, I'm sure, the micro series is kind of over the top. A lot of it doesn't make any sense, but it exists because it's cool. For whatever reason, Obi-Wan, just for whatever reason, has his own entire contingent of clones that also have spears and jousting units.
Okay.
Yeah, I know, it's really weird, but still pretty cool at the same time. And they just have this jousting match between Durge and his droids and Obi-Wan and his clones.
The hell were these creators smoking?
The creator of Samurai Jack.
What was he smoking?
But anyway, point is, Durge and Obi-Wan have this little jousting match, and I believe the Durge, so Obi-Wan was wearing clone trooper armor at the time, and
Okay.
Durge just just whacks that off of him and everything. And Obi-Wan's like, fuck this, I actually have a lightsaber, I'm gonna use that instead. And he just swipes away Durge's bike and everything. But Durge being Durge, he just walks out of the flames. And Obi-Wan charges him, he grabs his speeder bike, and he was preparing to use that motherfucking thing as a club against Obi-Wan. But obviously he's got a lightsaber, so it doesn't really matter.
He just cuts right through it.
And there's this one moment where Obi-Wan just stabs Durge once, and Durge just stands there, and he just laughs his ass off, and proceeds to beat the shit out of Obi-Wan.
Well, that didn't work.
That didn't work. It's like that fucking moment from a Metal Gear Rising where Raiden is just punching the shit out of Armstrong. He's just standing there, just. And then
not even that tickles or anything, just standing there silent.
Yeah, and just laughing his ass off. Fortunately though, so Durge just unloads his entire arsenal onto Obi-Wan, and either Obi-Wan just uses the Force to deflect them, uses his lightsaber to cut them apart, and eventually Obi-Wan just slashes apart Durge, and he just leaves.
He's like, fuck this.
And then, unfortunately, Durge uses his tentacles to reconfigure himself and everything.
Okay.
And a couple of scenes later, they managed to capture the command facility of the Separatists and the Banking Clan. And they were discussing terms of surrender with Sand Hill. But Durge, classic Durge, he has his jetpack. He goes fucking Kool-Aid Man through the window. He's like, oh yeah!
Of fucking course.
And it's so fucking funny.
It's his MO.
Oh yeah! It's also funny because, like, not even a second after Durge charged in there, every single clone in that room just open fired on his ass.
Well, no shit.
And like, they did a complete Bonnie and Clyde against Durge. Just
unload the clips.
unload everything. Like, it literally lasts 8 seconds.
Oh god.
Even another clone trooper brings a missile launcher and fires it for good measure.
Overkill? Although in Durge's case, you need that much.
To Durge, there's no kill like overkill.
Nope.
So fucking funny. I like how the clones in the micro series don't even react. They just burr everything in sight.
Just mow him down.
And obviously did nothing to Durge except break more of his armor apart. And he just
God damn.
he just grew bigger, and he decided to pile drive several clone troopers here and there, trying to kill Obi-Wan, smashing the computer console, and then he suffocates Obi-Wan in his massive tentacles inside of his body.
Oh god.
He goes to kill a couple of clone troopers, but then Obi-Wan just uses a Force repost to send a Durge all over the place.
Tear him apart.
Yep, tear him apart, the good old shockwave.
That's cool.
Even though Obi-Wan, so in that micro series, he picks up the Mask of Durge, and it's very obvious that he's gonna come back because his tentacles just reave away and everything. And then after that, let me see if I could, God damn it, I went a little bit far in my notes. Okay, so point is, a couple months later, Durge would be tasked by Count Dooku, along with Ventress, to go to his space station, because Dooku told him there's an intruder over there and they need to go take him out. So both Ventress and Durge, they just see this giant space station, and they're like, there's no fucking way we're going to be able to find him if we stay together, whoever the fuck this guy is. We're going to split up and ferry him into one section of the facility.
That's
basically.
a good strategy.
Yeah, it's a pretty good strategy. And this one facility is basically a museum piece where Dooku keeps all of his artifacts and bullshit.
Of course he does.
Little does he do either Ventress or Durge realize this was a test by Count Dooku
Okay.
to see who would come up as the supreme commander of a droid army.
Oh, this is when they fight Grievous.
Yep, this is where they fight Grievous. And Durge
They
was...
both get fucking curb stomped.
So, first off, Durge...
Check the Grievous episode.
Yeah, it's so fucking good. So Durge was kind of talking to Ventress like, hey, Whoever the fuck this guy is, maybe Dooku should have sent his droids or whatever. I don't see any reason for this. And as he's in the middle of saying this is a waste of time, he just gets ambushed by Grievous, who yeets him across the room.
Oh, God.
And then Ventress was all like, hey, did you see him? And Durge was like, no, he moved way too fast. And Ventress...
So he's faster than Durge.
Yep.
Holy fuck.
Just to get... Yeah, it puts you in a better perspective how terrifying Grievous is.
Oh, dear God.
Yeah. Ventress tries to find Grievous. She gets on top of, a whale bone or whatever to get a better vantage point. Grievous just kicks her off of the whale bones and everything. Durge manages to catch her in midair, and they decided to team up together to fight this unknown intruder. Mm-hmm. And both of them landed pretty good hits on Grievous.
Okay.
Like, Ventress shredded his cape apart with her lightsabers. Durge managed to use one of his bolas on Grievous, and then he just ran up and does a good old sucker punch to Grievous right in the face that sends him across the room and into several statues.
So basically an anime fight scene.
Pretty much. And then both of them were charging up to Grievous, and Grievous decided, you know what, fuck this, and he takes out two of his lightsabers, stabs Durge twice, and then decapitates him.
Oh, God.
And
it doesn't affect him?
It doesn't affect him, but for all intents and purposes, he's incapacitated. Mm-hmm. And then after that...
Because it takes a while to regrow a head.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And, he defeats Ventress, that thing. Comes back to Dooku, carrying Ventress on his shoulder like she's a child, and dragging Durge with his other hand. He's all like, hey, Dooku, you want me to send these motherfuckers into a vacuum of space? And Dooku was like, no, they survived worse. Plus, they're very loyal, so I need them.
He's like, I need them, don't.
And yeah, that is how Grievous became the Supreme Commander.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, kind of an interesting point of the Confederacy. How terrifying would it be if Durge came out as the Supreme Commander?
Oh, the galaxy would be fucked.
Oh yeah, it would be absolutely fucked. But it would probably not be a great military structure considering how insane Durge is.
Yeah, he would be the one to commit all the war crimes.
Commit all the war crimes or blow up an entire city like Joker did in Injustice.
Oh yeah.
But anyway, so after that little kerfuffle,
at least Grievous knows about war.
Yeah, he's a pretty good strategist. He's not a mass murderer who just kills random civilians here and there. I mean, he does, but he does it strategically.
Yeah.
But anyway, continuing on, 6 months into the Clone Wars. All right, I already talked about that story. So I mentioned this briefly in the Plo Koon episode. Durge would insinuate a riot on this ocean planet in the hopes of drawing in Jedi because, he loves killing some Jedi, that sort of thing. Fortunately for him, both Kit Fisto and Plo Koon arrived at this facility to quell the riots and everything.
Okay.
And I'll probably use... Do I have a picture of this? Point is, Durge is handling both of them quite well. Mm-hmm. Very, very well. As you'll see, there we go.
That's terrifying. Neither am I.
Yep, he's just curb stomping both of those Jedi. Though, unfortunately for Durge, he was interrupted by a prisoner who has two heads. I don't have a picture of him currently.
Okay.
But point is, because of this prisoner intervening, both Plo Koon and Kit Fisto managed to get out of his grasp. And they decided, fuck this, we're going to collapse the entire facility on top of your ass.
Great idea.
And then Durge's like, no! It's like a reoccurring...
Like, not again!
Instead of fucking blasting off, he's all like, I'm being buried again!
That's the only solution to him, incapacitate that motherfucker.
Pretty much. Yeah, you're not going to be able...
Or blow his fucking head off.
Pretty much. Just like Grievous and Arjak did, yeah. God damn. Anyway, so that aside, so we go into the semi-climactic finale for Durge.
Okay.
So near the end of the Clone Wars, which is, I believe in this particular story, it's like a month or 2 before the Revenge of the Sith and everything.
Okay.
So this is like
So before the galaxy goes to shit?
yeah, before the galaxy goes to shit. So at this point in the comic series by Dark Horse, Obi-Wan is basically obsessed over finding Ventress and redeeming her to the light side and everything.
Okay.
So, kind of a little bit of a context. He kind of found out about Ventress's origins as a former Padawan to his Jedi Master, and Obi-Wan's like, oh, she is misguided. She's not quite consumed by the dark side. She's a dark Jedi, blah, 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 you know, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And Obi-Wan just has this, I wouldn't say obsession. He probably has good intentions, but it could be seen as obsession because he just goes across multiple planets, interrogating separatists, crime lords, that sort of thing. And he came across this
Aggressive negotiations.
aggressive negotiations, of course. So he goes to this Black Sun Vigo. It's this guy by the name of Zish. He's not really relevant except for this little brief moment. They have a nice little duel where the Vigo has a vibro whip and everything, and Obi-Wan manages to beat him into submission.
God damn.
Yeah. Obi-Wan was really desperate in this.
Yeah. I
And
can see why.
and Zish was all like, okay, let's talk over a nice cup of tea and everything. So Zish, he's an ally of Dooku and everything, and he asks Dooku, okay, he's divulging information of what's going on with Obi-Wan. Because Obi-Wan's idea is that he has connections with Dooku and therefore Dooku's assassins and everything. And Zish requested Dooku to send one of his assassins to kill Zish's competitor, basically.
Okay.
And the idea is that this assassin is probably Ventress, and he gives him the coordinates of where the competitor would be and everything. And
Here's my guess. It's not Ventress.
no, that should have been very obvious. So Obi-Wan, along with Anakin, go to this system called the Catharic system. It's not really relevant anywhere else. It's just this one story and everything. They find the ship that the competitor was a captain of, and they already find it crawling with battle droids and everything.
Okay.
And they make it into the hangar and onto the bridge, where basically everybody's just dead. Obvious massacre and everything.
Oh, God.
And Anakin was
Sturgis handiwork.
and Anakin was all like, what's the captain holding there? And, he's just kind of investigating, and Obi-Wan's like, oh no, it's a trap.
Of course.
And he just force pushed Anakin away from the body, and that dead body was cleverly holding a hidden thermal detonator, obviously placed there by Durge.
Yeah.
And explosion happens, Durge comes out, and there's this little line where he's all like, he just looks at Obi-Wan, punches him in the gut, and yeets him across the room, and he's all like, I am so fucking tired of ambushing you, Kenobi. And Obi-Wan replies, so am I.
Yeah, I would be too.
And they just have this little kerfuffle in the ship and everything. And Anakin decides, fuck this, and he uses the Force to get several debris and everything to basically impale Durge with.
Okay.
Didn't put him down for good.
No.
And he was just so pissed off. And he says this very metal quote, which I will read. You think that was going to stop me? I was once buried alive for 60 years. If that didn't kill me, if the Sith and the Mandalorians and the Blood Boilers of Kregus couldn't kill me, then you will not kill me.
Yeah, that is pretty metal.
Yeah. He charges Anakin, who slices off one of his hands, and Obi-Wan just electrocutes him with exposed wires. And Durge
That probably works because most of his body is metal.
Yeah, very true. And Durge decided, okay, fuck this. And he takes out a trigger, and he activates the explosives that he put around the entire ship.
Oh, God.
He's all like, if you are gonna defeat me again, then I'm gonna take you motherfuckers down with me.
Yeah, exactly.
And he has this epic duel with Anakin while Obi-Wan goes around to see if he can find any evidence of Asajj Ventress and everything. He just beats the ever-living shit out of Anakin. He even stabs him a couple of times with his tantros and just yeets him across the ship. And eventually he yeets him so hard, Anakin goes Kool-Aid Man through the wall, and
Of
he
course.
sees a bunch of active explosives in front of him.
That's funny. Just, oh shit.
And then Anakin was like, okay, cool. I'm going to use the Force. Yeet them at Durge. And Durge's like, oh, fuck. And he gets exploded into oblivion. That did not kill him, though.
Not surprising.
However, the explosion was so intense, it burned out his vocal cords. And he was just a blabbering mess.
Wow.
And he was just mindlessly charging at Anakin while screaming out the top of his lungs. And Anakin decided to use this mindless Durge, and he influenced him through the Force to going into an escape pod. And then yeeted the escape pod into a nearby sun. Finally killing the motherfucker.
Wow. That's a pretty climactic way for him to die.
However, that is not the end of Durge, it seems.
What?
You know that thing I did with Vitiate, where it's like, this is the end of Vitiate. Or is it?
Oh, God.
That's kind of the same with Durge. So, I think I mentioned this game a couple of times. There's this old MMORPG called Star Wars Galaxies. Think of SWTOR, but before SWTOR.
It's called Star Wars Galaxy's Legends now
Yep.
that it's been relaunched.
Yeah. Oh.
Fan community, by the way, support it.
Oh, I did not know that. I'll have to check it out sometime.
Found out by Mitch Mannix on his channel.
Very cool. But anyway, point is, so it takes place like 1 year after New Hope and everything.
Okay.
And there's, so I mentioned in the Grievous episode, there's NK Necrosis, who's a AI put into Grievous's old cybernetic body and everything,
Yeah.
an extension on that. They kind of did the same thing with Durge.
What?
Let me explain. There were
How? He has no brain.
a group of Imperial scientists would be assembled to repair a quote-unquote heavily injured being.
So he didn't die.
It appears to be.
Even a son?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Anyway, so scientists, they were completely in the dark of what this life form is. For all we know, it could have been a random human that had regenerative abilities. Who the fuck knows?
Yeah.
But, though one scientist was amazed with how fast it was able to recover once they placed together some of its vital organs and limbs. Which makes me think it's not Durge because Jedi don't have organs.
Yeah, there's a continuity error there.
Yeah. This specimen, the reason why I added it in the Durge's story is because it is called Project Durge.
Okay, so it's named after him.
Yeah.
That's cool.
But they were unable to restore it to its original appearance, though the scientists did provide the specimen with a suit of heavy battle armor. Obviously, Project Durge would soon escape
Of course.
with the help of a criminal organization, and just like the original Durge, underwent a life of a bounty hunter and everything. Mm-hmm. And then, it's kind of like a side mission. I believe it's on Naboo, where Boba Fett basically, tasks the player character with hunting down this mysterious bounty hunter. Mm-hmm. They find Durge, gun him down, and go back to Boba Fett. And Boba Fett basically says he's not convinced that he's seen the last of Durge.
Well, duh.
But anyway, yeah, I'll share a picture of what this Project Durge fella looks like. There he is.
Doesn't even look like Durge.
I know. It's just so weird, but I had to include it because...
That's very weird.
Yeah, I think Irk would share with you how weird Star Wars Galaxies is right now.
I've seen a bit of it from Mitch Mannix's video, but I am tempted to try it out for myself.
Yeah, me too. It's probably a little bit outdated, but I wouldn't mind trying it out.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind either. He said it's a lot of grinding, but I've done it before. I have over 300 hours dedicated to SWTOR.
This is why I call you the SWTOR nerd.
It's obvious that I am fine with grinding.
Yep, very fine. However, Durge actually does appear in canon.
He does?
Yeah. He appeared in an issue of the Dr. Aphra comics. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the character.
I have heard of him.
Okay.
You've mentioned it before.
Yeah. It was back in 2020, I believe, when he was introduced.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and it's mentioned that he's part of the Separatists. I'm not sure if his story lines up with the Legends version of Durge and everything, but we know for sure he used to work for the Separatists.
Okay.
And then, so he makes his appearance 4 to 5 years after New Hope and everything.
Okay.
So he's in the Imperial era right now.
Yep.
So Durge kind of makes his appearance in the Dr. Aphra comics, and he's just kind of on this job to pick this entrepreneur who's infamous for drug trafficking and weapon smuggling and everything. And he finds the dude's derelict ship. It's this, where is it? It's his luxury yacht called the Apo Empress, which is pretty cool.
Okay.
And then on the ship, he encountered the title character, Dr. Aphra, who was on the ship with her own agenda and everything.
Okay.
Yeah, it's that, I believe it's that same picture that I showed you of Durge when we did a Grievous episode. There he is. He is a chunky boy.
Very chunky boy.
He is a very chunky boy. Anyway, so...
Just that weapon is enough to make you shit your pants.
Oh, absolutely. And he just one-hands that bitch.
Fuck that.
And then anyway, so he and Aphra are kind of in this disagreement because they were after the same target, but the target is dead.
Okay.
And Durge assumed that she killed him, but it was this parasitic creature called the Calmites.
Okay.
Yeah, the classic rich people mentality. The Calmites are basically a parasitic race that, infect people via the mouth and everything.
Ew, like Slither.
Yeah, just like Sliver. Fortunately,
Good movie, by the way.
fortunately or unfortunately, they are very soft under their carapace and are edible.
Oh.
They were originally extinct, but for some reason they still existed for the higher echelons of society.
What? That sounds like death. No.
Yeah, I know. Classic rich people mentality.
Yeah, very classic rich people mentality.
Anyway, so an entire swarm
It's just
of...
like monkey brains.
Yeah.
Except you don't get basically possessed.
Yeah. Point is, Durge and Aphra are forced to team up to take care of a swarm and everything. And the idea is, okay, the swarm is vulnerable to atmospheric pressures.
Okay.
They need to lure them into a nearby airlock. And Durge, being the unstoppable motherfucker that he is, decided to be bait for the swarm.
They're working together?
Yeah.
Wow.
And
Surprised he can do that.
Yep, exactly. Unfortunately, though, so Durge kind of lures the swarm into the airlock, but before he could get out of there, Dr. Aphra just closes the airlock and ejects both the swarm and Durge into space.
Just, fuck you. No!
But Dr. Aphra knows, obviously, Durge is still alive.
That's not enough to defeat his ass.
Yeah, and that's the introduction to Durge and Canon. So
That's pretty cool.
I'm kind of optimistic that we'll see more of him. I hope so.
Yeah, that sounds like he'd be a good recurring character.
Yeah, he would. You know what would be fucking hilarious?
What?
Is if he encountered, it's my own headcanon that most events are canon with legends and canon timeline. Like, I like to think that Anakin did yeet Durge into the sun, and then Durge comes back and Darth Vader encounters him. He's like, son of a bitch.
That would be really funny.
Yeah, it would be. But that aside, that is a story of Durge.
I learned a lot.
That you did.
I really didn't think that Durge was going to have that much significance. But that's cool.
Yeah, I am not... I know a lot of people are fans of Durge. I understand that. He's kind of a cool character. His design is cool. His powers are cool. Me, personally, though, he's not that interesting of a character.
Fair enough.
Like,
I don't find him that interesting either.
Yeah, he's just a blunt instrument. He has the same appeal as Jason Voorhees.
Yeah, I can see that.
He's just an unstoppable force of nature. He has no deep motivation. He has no goal or want except to kill everything.
Yeah, he's just not that good of a villain.
Yeah, he just gets
and
his
this
ass.
is coming from someone who likes villains.
Yeah.
Just if they're well written. This is not a well-written villain.
Yeah, you're probably not going to hear me say this any other time, but I prefer Vitiate over Durge.
I gotta fucking pinch myself! Yes! Small victory for me! Holy shit!
Because on the bright side, even though Vitiate is your classical big bad guy.
Big, bad, evil guy, yes.
His motivation actually had some weight to it. Like, you know, he wanted to ascend godhood and become immortal and be the only being in the galaxy and everything. It's not particularly interesting, but he at least has a motivation. Durge, he just wants to kill everybody.
He's doing it for the lols.
He's doing it for the lulz. Like, I mean, if that could work for certain villains, if you do it correctly. Like, I mean, the Joker, he's a very popular villain.
Yeah.
Like, some people say he has a deep motivation. He's the embodiment of chaos, that sort of thing. The only reason it works is because he is the stark contrast to Batman, who embodies order.
Yep.
Yeah, I think...
But there is no balance to Durge.
Yeah, he's just all over the place.
Yeah. It's not good. And you can never kill him.
Yeah. Like,
There's gonna be a time where he's just overused and you're wishing that he would be dead.
Yeah, unfortunately. I mean, like, there is some potential to his character, like his relationship with his mentor, Jing, and all of that stuff, and that's interesting. That's pretty much the only legitimately interesting part about Durge, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, he's still cool. He's a classical good guy that you want the heroes to fear and run away from. He's not particularly interesting as a sympathetic villain, if I'm going to be completely honest.
He's not a sympathetic villain at all.
Like, if you look at his compatriots like Dooku, Ventress, Grievous, sure,
they've
evil.
had shit happen to them.
Yeah, Grievous, he's fucked up because he
He nearly died.
Because he nearly died. He lost everything that he loved. He nearly saw his people succumb to famine and everything, and he was reconverted as a tool of a separatist and everything. Dooku, he is sympathetic because he legitimately wants to bring a good change to the galaxy, but it was just warped by Sidious.
Very warped.
And then Ventress...
Dark Jedi.
Yeah, Dark Jedi, misguided. Yeah,
She's got her own backstory.
Yeah, everybody else is much more interesting compared to Durge.
Yeah, Durge is just very bland.
Yeah. I mean, like, Durge,
Durge is English food. That's how bland he is.
Like, he's fucking crumpets and everything. I can't believe we're comparing...
No flavor to him. It's bland as shit.
Yeah, I can't believe we're comparing Durge to crumpets. But no, like, a lot of people say Durge is superior to Cad Bane. Like, I get that, but in terms of backstory and personality, I prefer Cad Bane.
Yeah, Cad Bane is better, at least, and Cad Bane's more badass.
Yeah,
and he has a bit of a moral code.
Yeah, just a little bit. A lot of bounty hunter characters I prefer over Durge. Now, in comparison to fucking Snoke, I would go for Durge any day. But yeah, Durge...
Take a shot.
Yeah, take a shot.
We should do an episode on Snoke.
Snoke.
Not Smoke from Mortal Kombat.
Oh, poor Smoke. I miss him. But yeah, Durge, he's fun. Obviously, he was fun to use in our campaign. Mm-hmm. But other than that, don't expect much from him.
Thank God.
He has, he's your classical... slasher movie villain. That's the kindest thing I could say about him.
Yeah.
But yeah,
very annoying.
Yeah, very annoying. But yeah, so that's our episode of Can Mayonnaise Kill a Jedi? Or in this case, how many times can Durge come back from the dead?
We don't know at this point.
But yeah, any closing statements, Hannah?
Not really. It was an okay episode.
Yeah. Okay.
What are we talking about next?
So, I'm going with another Patreon suggestion.
Awesome.
And we'll do it a little bit lighter episode than compared to Durge and everything. We will be diving into the lore behind Force Ghosts.
Nice!
Yeah.
This is gonna be awesome.
Yeah, Force goes. That's going to be a nice little topic to go into. I
Yeah,
think
that's
it'll
gonna be good.
Yeah, it'll be a. I foresee it being a relatively short episode. I'm not going to solidify my answer on that, but we'll see in the future.
Yeah, we'll see in a
But,
week.
Yeah, and then no D&D tonight. We will be having it tomorrow, and hopefully I could edit it in time for all of you guys to listen to and everything, and that legendary encounter with Durge.
Yeah, you guys gotta hear it. We're just lucky we survived. That's all I'll say. It's a fun time.
It is a fun time.
So please tune in for it.
Yeah. And anyway, this is the way. May the Force be with you.
Adios.
Adios.